Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining my channel, Walking into the Light with Ryan Nolan. I greatly appreciate you joining this channel. If you like this video, please hit the like, subscribe, or share button below. And if you want to donate, there's a description box with a link there if you're interested in doing that. And if you do that, I greatly appreciate it. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. I'm really excited to get this message out there. I think this is a good time to do this. And, a lot of the messages that I put out, or a lot of videos that I put out already, a lot of it has to do with what I'm going to be talking about right now, which is the fall of the Matrix. It's not just a movie. It's not just some, fantasy idea that people have come up with that created the movie, The Matrix, or, there's a lot of people that may not even truly believe what the Matrix is or that we're in a Matrix. But I want to let you know that we are in a Matrix. That is the truth. And that the Matrix is basically a system to create the illusion that there's a soul outside of yourself. The problem is and what I mean by that is when you look out into the world and when you experience your everyday situation, your everyday experience, every experience that you've ever had, including the one that you're having right now, when you look out in what you're looking at, you are looking at yourself. So in other words, all of the energies that are within you are being, shown and displayed in front of you. And it's almost like a story that is being projected from inwardly, outwardly, from inward, from your soul. So your soul resides within you, and that soul is what God is. That is God. That your soul is a part of God, and that soul that you have within inside of you, that is God, connects every soul in this universe. So every soul within the universe is within that one collective consciousness that resides within you. Now that projects outwardly and displays your world on an every moment to moment basis. So those energies or the souls that are within the universe and all the energies within the universe, because basically everything is energy. Every soul is made up of energy. All matter is made of energy. Everything is at the base level is created of energy. And that energy is God. And that energy that is within that one consciousness within you that connects all souls within the universe is projected outwardly out of every single human being. And at every moment in time, that one energy shows itself connected as one energy. So every soul is connected together, even though it looks as though if you're looking out into the world right now and you see someone in a car, or you see someone walking down the street, it may seem as though they're separate from you because they're walking while you're in the car, for instance. But you don't realize that at every moment in time, it's almost like just imagine a picture is being taken, right? At every snapshot of time, you are connected with one energy, with that person, with everything that there is in the universe. So at every moment in time, there's a static energy, as I like to call it. And that static energy happens so quickly close to each other that you're not able to see the gap between, one moment to the next, that snapshot of energy is taking place. So it seems as though it's happening continuously, when in actuality, it's a static moment after static moment after static moment. And the change that you see is an illusion. In other words, you're just looking at an infinite number of continuous, static energies connecting everything to each other over and over again into infinity. The way that I like to talk about it is when you look at the motion pictures of Disney, and they came up with the idea of motion pictures, and you remember how they would draw the mouse, and then they would draw the figure of the mouse, of Mickey Mouse, and then they would slightly change the the hand gesture or the leg of the mouse on the next page, and then on the next page they would draw another mouse and they would have it slightly different in angle or position of the body. And if you flip all those pages together, it looks as if the mouse is moving. You got to remember that's exactly what's happening in the universe. We are all static energy that is continuously looking as though we're changing because God is moving within the one consciousness within us. God is moving. And that's making the projection move. And it looks as though we are part of, something that's continuous, when really we're a part of an infinite static energy that is connected as one at every moment in time. And the reason I say this is to let you know that for that reason, it shows that we're not disconnected from anything, that every person that you see, we're all connected as one energy. We're all connected to every single person that you see, and that there is no separation between you and another person. So the thoughts and the feelings and the emotions that you have within inside yourself at some point in time are the same thoughts and emotions and feelings that another person's going to feel. The same exact energy that you felt is also going to be experienced by someone else, but it may be expressed in a way that to you or to someone else that you may not recognize, because you no longer feel that energy. You no longer, gravitate towards that energy. You've evolved, or maybe it was a past lifetime, because this isn't the first life we've ever lived. We've lived many lifetimes before this. So maybe in another lifetime, you've experienced that energy that's being expressed to you right now from someone else, but you don't recognize it. You don't see it as something that you could ever attach yourselves to or have felt before. So it may seem as though you're separate from that person, when in actuality, like I've shown with the depiction that I just talked about, we're all connected as one. We're all connected as one. There's no difference between you, me, or any other person, that we're all connected at every moment in time. And the idea that we're divided is the illusion that the devil created, that creates the egotistical world that we find ourselves in now, the fallen world that's brought us back into the lower vibrational aspects of ourselves. And what I mean by that is when we feel disconnected from everything, right? We feel as though we now need to take care of ourselves. We need to now worry about what our needs are, because that's what's most important. If you feel separate from the world, what you're going to be worried about mostly is yourself, because you feel like you have to survive, because it's you versus the world. But in actuality, it's you with the world. You are part of the world. There is no separation. And that's what people have a hard time understanding, I think, is to come to that fantastic conclusion, which is real, the fantastic conclusion, the magnificent conclusion, which is the reality that we live in, that Jesus was trying to talk about, which is that we're all connected, that there is no difference between you, me, and any other person, that we're all the same, and we're all under the illusion that we're different. And when that illusion, really is we attach ourselves to that and we believe it to be true, we start thinking more about ourselves, and we drop our energy level and our consciousness within us to the lower aspects of the one self. So within that one energy, or the one consciousness that I talked about, you have lower energies all the way to the highest vibrational energies. So you have, greed and lust and selfishness at the lower ends. And then at the highest ends, you have unconditional love. And everywhere in between, you have the mixture of energies. So when you feel as though that you are separate from the world, you feel like you now have to take ownership of your life in the way that you have to survive. You have to push other people away and think for yourself only. And that drops your consciousness level to a point where now you are in the energies of greed, energies of control, energies of envy, energies of jealousy. And if you think about it, isn't that very similar to the types of energies you see now in the world? And it's not just because that's the way it is. There's nothing that is just the way that it is. The way that it is the way you believe it to be, because we are the manifestors of our own reality. So if we are seeing, an excess of jealousy, an excess of envy in the world, an excess of competition, which is the world that we live in today, that means that we are living primarily as a collective unit within the lower self soul, lower self energies, within the lower energies, within that one consciousness within us. And that's means that God is now, because God is allowing us free will, he's allowing us to realize what's going on, to evolve. And so he's not going to restrict us and confine us into being a certain way. He's going to give us free will. So when we drop our consciousness level to those lower energy levels, by believing that we're separate from everything and now thinking that we have to survive, that's going to be projected out in the story that you see for yourself. Now you're seeing your life in a unique way. And that's how every soul is different, is they're seeing their life in a unique way based on their consciousness level. So, even though they have a consciousness level that's lower for some of us, and they may be living a life where they feel like they got to control everything, and they have to compete with everybody, and they have to put other people down, and they're jealous of people, that world that's going to be reflected back to them, God's going to reflect that back, project it out, and they're going to see that story based on the energies that are within them at that moment in time. And in every present moment, they're going to see over and over again that story that they are believing to be true, which is that they have to control everything. So the world's going to reflect that back. because we are the manifestors of our own reality. We still have the power to change our reality based on our faith that we are everything that we experience. That's what faith is. So, but when you don't believe that you are, and you have to control everything because everything's separate from you and you're against the world, that world's going to reflect back to you exactly that you are not in control of your life, that you need more control, that you have to put other people down, and the energies are going to show that at every moment in time. So that's the world that we find ourselves in today. And the system of the matrix has been manipulated by the devil and the lower energy souls. So there's the lower energy souls that make up a lot of the government. A lot of the government are comprised of people that have lower energies, that have the lower energies of the one soul that we all have, the one consciousness within us. They primarily reside, those consciousness energy levels reside within the lower, energies. They're mostly up about greed, about, lust, about power. So those are the things that they're trying to attain. And that's the story that primarily our world has been gravitating towards because of the fact that we feel like we're separate. And people have believed that. But now the matrix is falling because God is coming here to deliver us from that fact and deliver us from that illusion, to let us know that we are all one consciousness. And for that reason, there's nothing to fear. When you understand that everything that you see is you, and there's nothing to worry about, and there's nothing to be scared of, and that there is no reason to compete with anyone else because all you're doing is competing with another version of yourself. There's no reason to put another person down because you're only putting another version of yourself down. There's no reason to worry about what other people say about you because that's just another version of yourself saying something about you. When you get to that point, of faith, the point that Jesus was trying to make when he came down here as a man and died on the cross for us, that was the point that he was trying to get across. That was hard it was difficult for people to understand just how amazing this world and this life truly is, because we've lived in such chaos, we've lived in such anarchy, we've lived in such fear and misery for the most part. A lot of us have been through a lot, and that's not just in this lifetime, but that's in last lifetimes as well, that we've lived difficult lives. And it's hard for us to imagine that life could be that simple, where there's nothing to worry about. But the fact of the matter remains that's what faith is all about, to understand that when you simply relax and you give your life to Jesus Christ, he will show you what I'm saying is true. He will show you that when you surrender to him and you give your life to God and you give all of your control and all of your desires and all of your trauma, you step into the state that I'm talking about, where you simply just are calm and you're relaxed and you're peaceful, because there's nothing scary that's going to happen around the corner that you have to prepare for. Because at every moment in time right now, most of us are worried about the next terrible thing that's going to happen in our lives, or the next thing that we have to prepare for, the next storm, the next virus, the next pandemic, right? These are all things that we're thinking about that haven't even happened yet, but we're still preparing for them as if they're going to happen. So in the present moment, we're always fearful of something. And that is the intention of the army of darkness. That is the intention of the devil, is to create this fear among all of us so that they can feed off of that energy to continue to manipulate the one consciousness to the point that we still feel as though that we're all disconnected from each other. Because when we are fearful of the next terrible thing that's going to happen, that lowers our consciousness level, right? Because we are now in a state of fear. We're now in a state of, we have to think for ourselves and survive. And that energy then goes towards the devil to be able to continue to perpetuate the illusion, to continue to put energy into the corrupt governments, to continue to put energy into the corrupt industries, to continue to put energy into manipulating the minds of our youth in education. So all of the energy that we're giving away with our fear is being used against us to create the very world that is perpetuating that illusion. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy for the army of darkness, for them to receive the fear that we're giving out to the world. It's almost like we're giving away our power. We're giving away, our divinity, because all of us have divine powers within us, the ability to, read people's minds, telepathy, telekinesis, clairvoyance, intuition, The ability to read energies around you, to understand who may not have your best interests at heart, and who are, and then maybe there are people that are very close to God that you can sense because of their energy as well. So there's so many divine skills and talents and abilities that we have that we're not tapping into, because you can only get into those abilities as you raise your vibration, as you raise your energy level from within you. And the only way to do that is to understand that everything that you experience is you, and that there's nothing to worry about, and there's nothing to place meaning on. There's nothing that truly you have to be concerned about or stressed out about. And if there is something that comes across in your life that you feel like this is something that this is not a good situation to be in, or it's negative for whatever reason, that's just a part of yourself that you haven't accepted. When you allow everything to play out, even when you're not sure why this is happening, when you let things play out in God's way, when he projects everything out from within you out for you to see in the story of your life, when you let everything happen and you don't hold on to anything, and you don't say, oh God, I don't understand. I've only been used to this certain way, and now this is happening. It's new to me and I'm scared. I don't want that to happen. I want to continue to do things my way, or the way that I'm comfortable with. You're taking away all the infinite possibilities that God's trying to show you, that is so much better than the way that you know to be comfortable, that is only leading you to more pain and suffering, because you know that's the truth, because you find yourself in that situation right now. But the fact of the matter is, you're so concerned with change, you're so concerned with being uncomfortable, that you'd rather know what's going to happen and be miserable than not know what could happen and actually have an opportunity to be truly happy. It's the uncertainty. And that's another thing that the devil tries to get on to people and tries to play with our minds with, which is the idea that the uncertainty of things is bad or is negative, when in actuality, there's nothing bad that can ever happen when God is trying to project out to you your story of life. When you understand that God is trying to show you the life that you could truly live, you understand that there's nothing to ever be scared of, because God is with you, trying to pull you towards the right path, and it's you that's getting in the way. It's nobody else. It's not the world. It's you getting in the way and saying, no, I'm more comfortable this way because this is the way it's always been in my life. And even though it's led me to a miserable place or a sad place or a place that I don't feel fulfilled, I want to continue down that road, even though, God, I know that you have an unknown way that you are saying is going to lead me to to potential happiness. I think the problem too is also people don't understand that God is connected with them at every moment in time, that because they're in a certain situation that has pain and suffering in it, they don't understand how God could actually be with them in that moment in time. But what they don't realize, it's their belief that they're separate from the world, that they're competing against the world, that's creating their reality. It's not because God isn't with them. It's that God is giving them the free will to evolve and to transform and to learn from their past mistakes when it comes to their faith, when it comes to the understanding that you're everything that there is. Because once you understand that and you evolve, all the things that you've gone through have a purpose now, right? If you listen to what I'm saying and it makes a difference in your life, and you actually start accepting things for what they are, and you don't try to hold on to anything, and you let God do his work in your life, and you surrender to Jesus, and you bring him into your life, and you pray and you meditate and do all the things that God wants you to do through your communication with him and all of the insight and messages that he provides you, and you follow his instructions, you're going to look back and understand why everything that happened that you don't understand now, why those things happened. It's all going to make sense. You're going to understand why you had to go through all of that pain and suffering to get to where you are now, because if you didn't go through that pain and suffering, you would never have come to the realization that we're all one. See, if being separate was comfortable, if being separate and feeling like you're separate from the world, there was actually some joy to it, and there was some, permanent, blissfulness that didn't go away, that you could just feel so good every day and know that you were always going to be good, even though you only felt about yourself, you would never evolve. You would never get to the point that you are headed to right now, which is, see, everybody's headed to the understanding of what I'm talking about, the idea that we are all one. That is the point of this life, is to understand that we are all one. It's not about the world. It's not about what you can get out of the world. It's not about what you can achieve or the awards that you get or how you look in front of other people. Because like I said, once you realize that we're all one, you'll realize how silly it is to worry about the things that you're worrying about right now, because you're only comparing yourself to other versions of yourself. So the main point that I wanted to make is the matrix is falling because God is here to deliver us from the tyranny and the oppression of our soul by shedding light and faith into the world. And I'm part of that light. I'm part of the faith that's injecting light into the world so that it raises the vibrational frequency of the one consciousness that I've been talking about. Because as I raise my vibrational consciousness, it gives access to everyone else to also raise their vibrational consciousness. Because like I said, we're all connected, right? So as one person raises their vibrational frequency and has access to more faith and understands that they are everything that they experience, now other people have that same ability. And then other people have that same ability. And now you can see why, the devil and the army of darkness has been so worried about the spiritual revolution that I'm talking about right now, because it is so impactful, and it is so infectious. The faith is infectious. It spreads so quickly, and we as human beings have the power to overtake the darkness because there's so many human beings. There's 8 billion people on the planet, and once we realize the true power that we have within us, they have no chance. Absolutely no chance. And that's where we find ourselves in, right? That's the day we find ourselves in today. The enemy knows that they have no chance right now. None. It's over, because they understand that there's too much light in the world that is spreading right now. And it's not even being talked about in the media right now. You might not only have to be able to go to this channel or other YouTube channels to hear this, but you're not going to hear it on the media, because the media is part of the darkness, right? They're part of the perpetuating of the fear. They're part of the perpetuating of the separation. So you're not going to get the revolution of our soul being explained by the enemy. So that's another reason I want to put this out there, because there's not a lot of ways to get this information right now, unless you go out and you go to different countries and you start seeing for yourself that there are changes being made. There are people that are seeing differences now. There are countries that are changing, transforming, becoming more enlightened, becoming higher vibrational, that are becoming more positive, that are treating their people better, that are not allowing people to go without food and without a place to stay, and there, all of these things, there's being more emphasis being placed upon those that are most vulnerable in their countries and in their towns and cities. And I see it happening now. I see more emphasis and more focus on helping those that are in most need, whether it be the homeless, whether it be neglected children that have been abused or may not have a place to stay or eat. So I'm seeing changes right now, and I'm also seeing changes in just the way people interact with other people that they may not know each other. They just meet each other randomly, and people are being more positive. They're smiling more. They're laughing more. And I just want people to be aware of this, to really put your focus on that, to go out and don't just take my word for it. Go out and see for yourself if this is happening, because as soon as you start acknowledging the difference, that will start continuing to bring difference into the world. That will continue to bring more faith into the world, right? Because you're going to start with your acknowledgement of what I'm talking about. It will bring more faith into yourself, and that will allow other people that are also looking for the same things that you're looking for to follow suit, and also to follow in faith as well. And this will just spread throughout the world. And that's exactly what's happening right now. So the system of the matrix, which was designed to help our souls evolve, has gotten to the point where we have been imprisoned. So it could have been, it can be used to help us evolve, or it can be used to imprison our souls. It's a double-edged sword, where the matrix can be used for good, or it could be used for bad. And right now, we find ourselves watching us as a collective unit, as a collective soul, as a human soul, all of us collectively connected as one consciousness, rising out of the ashes of darkness, out of the lower energies and into the higher energies of the one self. So that's really the message that I wanted to put out today, as we go to 2024, is that we have an amazing world to look forward to, that all of the things that we've been through as human beings, and I'm not just talking about the last 3 years, which have been tough, but the last few years, or even the last 100 years, all of the lifetimes that we've had on this planet were not in vain. All of the struggling that we've been through as human beings was not in vain. Even the things that we're going through right now, individually, on a daily basis, is not in vain. Because the celebration, the glory of God, the rejoicing and the singing and the dancing that's going to be happening very soon, you're going to understand why you had to go through all those things to get to that point. And if someone asked you, would you do it again? Would you, I mean, I can't speak for you, but I can speak for myself. Would you do it again? I haven't even got to the rejoicing and celebration part as much as I will, but I can tell you this, knowing what I know and knowing where we're headed as a human race, I would say yes, because the joy and this bliss and the celebration and the praising of God and the glory that we're going to bring to God and how much fulfillment we're going to fill our souls with is going to be so overwhelming that we're not even going to be thinking about the things that we've been through. We're only going to be so glad that we're with God again. And with that, I just want to say, I wish you guys the best. God bless you guys. Have a great Christmas. Happy holidays. And if I don't talk to you, have a happy new year. And just stay prayed up. Love you guys.